The Omoda 5 aims to offer something just a little different for customers seeking a compact family hatch or smaller crossover SUV. There's a choice of combustion or EV powertrains, striking design and a strong value proposition. If you like the looks, it might be tempting.
Quite a bit here depends on your choice of powertrain. Now we'll deal with the one we don't have here first. The Chery Group clearly hasn't wasted much of its development time on the combustion option, which is covered off by an old tech 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol turbo unit that the Chinese conglomerate buys in from Austrian supplier AVL. As we'll see later in this review, that front-driven engine creates a notably inefficient confection, as you'd expect it might, given that it's unelectrified and has to propel nearly 1.5 tons of oriental metalwork. On the plus side, that petrol power plant develops quite a lot more power than you'd expect from a car at this price point. 183 brake horsepower with 275 newton meters of torque, so 62 miles an hour is dispatched quite a bit more quickly than with obvious rivals, 7.8 seconds en route to 128 miles an hour, the kind of top speed a family hatch EV driver can only dream about these days. Another potential plus is that this unit comes as standard paired with a Getrag sourced 7-speed dual clutch auto gearbox, though on the road you'll find that this transmission's indecisiveness sometimes hurts the drivetrain's general drivability, and it tends to hunt around its ratios. It isn't suited to towing either, with a braked towing capacity of just 750 kilograms. Of course, there's no indecisiveness with the single-speed transmission of this E5 electric model, which gets even more power, 201 brake horsepower from its front-mounted E-motor, which means that 62 miles an hour can be dispatched in 7.2 seconds en route to 107 miles an hour, the kind of performance you'd be very unwise to exercise if you wanted to get anywhere close to the claimed 257-mile range figure from the Blade-style 61 kilowatt-hour battery pack. The ride's slightly on the firm side, but that does at least mean that body rolls well controlled at speed through the turns, though the syrupy feel of the steering won't encourage you to put that to the test. Omoda says that the suspension, steering and anti-roll bars have all been retuned over the Chinese market model to cater for differing European tastes. Omoda is determined that fashionable design should be a major selling point of its models, which is why you'd be unlikely to mistake the Omoda 5 for anything else. If we were looking at the combustion version of this car, the main visual talking point would be its huge, strikingly intricate grille, which disappointingly gets replaced by a rather boring bluff front end in this EV version, incorporating a wide flap that rises to reveal the charging socket. What you get behind the wheel actually varies quite a lot depending on whether you've chosen this E5 model or the alternative combustion variant. Either way, the shiny, slightly chintzy feel of the cabin decor clearly betrays this interior design as Far Eastern rather than European, but you might like that. The wheel gains a gear-shifting column stalk in this EV model. As is the fashion these days, a single wide panel mounted on top of the dashboard houses both of the required screens, which in this case are each 10.25 inches in size. As we said earlier, the LCD display for the instruments feels quite a bit more advanced in this E5 variant, with a central car graphic that gets replaced by a Tesla-like interactive road placement display as you drive. Everything else you'll need to know is of course on this central monitor, which has a home screen that displays in either rows of icons or rather small customizable widgets. We've got nav, radio, battery charge, vehicle settings and phone ones here. What else? Well, you might think that a general lack of physical buttons is a good thing. Unfortunately, we don't. The driving position seems a touch high set, and we found that unless you position the squared off wheel unnaturally high, you can't see the whole of the instrument screen. But otherwise, the ergonomics seem fine and the sculpted seats are quite comfortable. Time to take a look in the rear. It's a pity that the bench doesn't slide, nor does its backrest recline, but legroom is okay, and thanks to a low central tunnel, It'd be easier to fit in a third middle-seated adult if you absolutely had to than it usually is with a car of this class. But the small rear windows, dark trimming and sloping roofline all make it feel a touch claustrophobic, with the latter issue severely limiting headroom, so lanky occupants might struggle. With both powertrains, the manually lifted tailgate rises to reveal a 380-litre space, which is certainly more family hatch-like, but we'll take that in return for the standard provision under the boot floor of something you almost never see these days, a full-size spare wheel.